Hi guys, how are you?
Good. How are
Good,
you?
good. How are you?
Doing great. So to start, I've never been happier to see Ramona Flowers as a detective in my entire life. It made me so happy watching this show. And so to start, Mary, getting to dig into this character that obviously we've seen her a lot from Scott's perspective, and playing her as this. She's not a manic pixie dream girl, but she kind of is that like a hyped up version of what he wants her to be. Getting to play her in this light where she is this new version of herself and getting to be the like main character for most of the show. What was the joy of getting to dig into her in that way and play her as, a detective and trying to solve this case throughout the whole show?
It was really amazing. It was really kind of cathartic to get to play her in a way where she has so much agency and she's driving so many of the scenes. Was just a really special thing to do because I love that character so much and I feel so connected to her and I felt so connected to her, when I played her. And so to kind of have her somewhat reduced at the time to this manic pixie dream girl kind of trope, um, which I totally can see why people perceive it that way. But I think for me, when I was playing it, I kind of there was so much about her that I felt so deeply, and so I didn't really want her to be reduced to that, in the perception of who she is as a character. So to get to kind of go beyond that and to show all these different shades to her and to kind of get to go into her backstory a little bit and find out why she is so guarded and why she is the way that she is, was really special. And then just to get to see her be really proactive, and kind of taking the lead on this was a really special and exciting thing to get to do.
Yeah, and also to that, like Ellen, I'm so happy for Knives too. This show is just I've never been like I'm a huge Scott Pilgrim fan because I was the perfect age when that movie came out because I'm 32 now, so it was like right in kind of like, oh great, this is
Kind
something
of
I
our
can watch and
generation.
enjoy. Yeah. And so watching like this, I was just like, great, this is perfect. All of the ladies are getting their time and it is
Yes.
for them and not so much for like the boys who wanted to like claim Scott Pilgrim. It is just for the girls. And to have Knives also have her time and like get her agency in this and not just be, the girl who shouldn't have been Scott Pilgrim because she was a child. Uh, for you coming into it, as an adult playing Knives as like from a different age, from a different perspective, what was your kind of approach to this character now versus back then, like in the live action, but also just for her getting this kind of agency too, because it is all new and fresh, but so exciting to see these characters in this way versus what we already had.
Yeah, and I love the anime for that because we really do get to see each of the characters more in depth than we did in the feature film. And the Scott Pilgrim really does take off in a little way so that we can explore all the other characters, right? And I just had so much empathy for Knives in a way that I was much more closer to who she was when I was playing her 10 years ago. I just had that sort of like anxiety about myself, not about a guy, but about just like being right for her and doing right by her, and it also was my first time being in a movie. And so that was just like it was just a whole bag of just like I hope this is right. And now, I'm playing her with the wisdom of the last 10 years, and just being able to say, hey, you're okay and you're going to be okay, and things, and you're going to find your way. And she does. And she's on this journey of, like you said, it's like all the female characters get to take off in their way, and we get to explore who they are. And I do love that. There's something really cool about not having to feel connected to Scott. Knives is going on her own journey. She gets to team up with the band, and she's finding her love, her true love, in other things that are more fulfilling for her. And I think there's something really magical about that, and that's also true to life. It's authentic. Sometimes you do need those big breakup moments or those big down moments in life to show you the way, to show you that light or that magic in you is meant for something else, that your destiny is something else, and that you can find happiness somewhere else. And I think that's sort of, in a way, all the characters have that parallel journey in this anime, and it's really cool to see that.
Yeah, and Mary, I do have to say, as somebody who you have consistently just played characters that I'm obsessed with, because like listen, I'm an Italian girly who Helena Wayne is my favorite like character in
Yeah.
DC. So Helena Bertinelli, I was like, I'll take her. Like I was like,
Good.
This is where I'm getting it, and I'm taking it. And so I like you just like constantly are bringing these characters to life that I am obsessed with, and I think it all stems from my love of Ramona Flowers, because I just like love how you approach characters, and I think the approach to the anime Ramona just like shows how like deep you kind of get into these characters and understand them on like, I don't want to say a molecular level, but it is kind of like you just like understand a character and you're like, great, I got it. I'm just gonna go with it. And this Ramona is just so like, especially with the reveal at the end, which I don't want to like get that much into these spoilers, but like what happens with Ramona at the end is so good. And I think that's why I'm obsessed with this show in the way that I am. For you, knowing kind of her journey and like going from like that detective story that I'm obsessed with into the reveal of like where she goes and how the all the evil X's kind of the formation of this show and what it leads to. What for you is the appeal of that arc for you as someone who does get so into these characters that you play and make them so much part of kind of your approach as an actor?
Well, I mean, the whole experience of doing this show, and the show itself is, the word that kind of describes it is meta. It's meta on so many levels, and it was personally for me as well. And I think every time I went into the recording booth, it felt more and more like that, where I just thought, oh my God, this is sort of like all of our journeys paralleling each other. And you could feel it, that it was Brian's journey, it was Ben David's journey, it was like collectively everyone's kind of been through something that's reflected in the show. And I think that that's why it works so well, is because it's incredibly truthful and authentic to like a real human experience, and kind of growth from being kind of young and stupid to growing into yourself and kind of figuring your life out and making mistakes. And I just think that they captured that so beautifully that I couldn't help but feel like, all the ways in which Ramona and I were the same. And that is kind of how I always try to approach characters, is kind of finding my way into them that way, sort of like, how is this character me and how am I her? And I think that they made that incredibly easy for me. Just the way that they wrote this and brought it to life was just so truthful to the journey of like growth as as a person from your 20s into your 30s, and all the things that can happen and all the disappointments that can come along, and the way in which you get to this place where you value that. I think was like hugely cathartic for all of us to get to explore.
And for my last question for both of you, I think what I do like in the show, especially with Knives and Ramona, is in the movie we see, Knives trying to become Ramona and like appeal to Scott by becoming Ramona. But in the show, like they have that moment where they like have a come to Jesus essentially, and it's like, no, you don't have to do that. For you both, like getting to have that as like two women and two female characters in something which is an anime, and I know it's not live action, so you didn't have like this meeting of faces or even a meeting in a recording booth. What was it like though to be like friends and part of a cast that still talk to each other and still want to be a part of something, getting to have that moment as actors and like having that as characters?
It was a really proud moment, because I think that the characters, I mean, they've been living in Brian Lee O'Malley's mind, genius mind for so long that, I think in the features, you can only in the features, I'm like, where's the second one? You can only did you watch the secret second one? You can only tell so much, and at the way it ends, it does allude to this. Well, there is a story. There's so much more to say for every one of the characters, and in the anime, this is our chance to really go into that and go deeper. And going on to what Mary was saying earlier, there's just so much, depth and nuance and intelligence and authenticity in this sort of journey of what it's like to grow up, to make mistakes, to learn from it, and to fall down again and to get back up. And there's no, it's not just like A, B, and C. It's just like it goes in all of these colors. And it's like, what's really cool in the anime is that you get to sort of see them go and figure out what that is for each and every one of the characters. You get to see that, and to see Knives and Ramona have that, like you said, that come to Jesus moment, or like to just really accept each other and to say, hey, you know what, I'm not gonna have this, like, hold this grudge. Maybe more for Knives, not less for Ramona. I don't know. You tell me. But I remember in the booth wanting to play that moment with more like, but then I was like, no, she's beyond that. She's got her own thing now. It's not about Ramona, and I think that's just really, it's just really smart and true to life. And it's like, we just don't have time for that pettiness. There are just more important things in life, and there needs to be more room for love and loving oneself. And I think that's, what is so beautifully there in the anime.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much. I'm a huge fan of both of your work and like this franchise, and it means a lot to talk to you. I just say before I leave, because if I leaned back, you would have seen it, and I'm sorry. My warmest sweatshirt, 'cause it's snowing in New York, is one that has the dumbest pictures of your husband on it, Mary, and it says Obi-Wan. And so I'm freezing. And I was like, if I lean back, it's gonna say Obi-Wan Kenobi. And I'm
I would love
so
it.
cold.
I would love it if the frame had just been this the whole time and you just never brought it up. If it was just that unspoken.
So cold. I'm like, if I leaned back at all, you would have just seen the face
I love it.
But I was like,
That's
I'm
amazing.
so cold, and I can't not
like I've got to do it. I've got to do it.
But thank you guys so much for talking with me today.
Thank
I love
you.
this show a lot, and thank you so much.
Yeah,
thank you so much.
you.
Nice to talk to you.
Nice talking to you guys.
Yeah.
Bye. Bye.